Okay, so hey guys, and welcome back to another predictions video, and in today's video I'm going to be predicting the Estrada versus Rupprecht fight. If you are new around here though and you haven't subscribed, please do so, like the video if you do need like the video, and let's get straight into it. So, going into this fight, Estrada is 23-0 with 9 KOs, and Rupprecht is 12-0-1 with 3 KOs. This fight is for the WBA and WBC World Minimum Weight titles. Estrada's last fight was a win via unanimous decision versus Villarino, and Rupprecht's last fight was a win via unanimous decision versus Gaspar. This is in Estrada's home country of USA, and this will be Rupprecht, from what I believe, his first time coming over to this country, as she is a fighter from Germany and so is used to fighting there and is more comfortable fighting there. But I respect her for taking this opportunity and coming and fighting in America. Also on this card is Ramirez versus Commey. That is the main event for this card. I mean, I could have spoke about that. It's a very good fight as well, but I just thought this would be, in my opinion, the better fight to speak about. And for the women's pound for pound boxing, and even just in this weight division boxing, this is arguably the more important of the fights. But in the Ramirez versus Commey fight, I think that Ramirez will win via TKO in round 5. I don't see Commey really having a chance with this one. Of course, he's been in there with some great fighters and is more experienced, but I think Ramirez wins this, goes on to another big fight, and is only really going to go on for big fights from there, and arguably is probably ready for that big fight now, and probably should have a possibly tougher opponent than Commey. But I still don't hate this fight, and I think that Ramirez will win very easily and via TKO in round 5. Going back to the Estrada fight, Estrada is fast, has good head movement, hooks very well, is attacking, she switches stance, she changes levels very well, she has a good chin, she's relentless, she has good conditioning, she's skilled, and she has good balance. In that last fight versus Villarino, she used her hooks very well. Like I said, she was kind of going to the body, she was going to the head, and it kind of always was working out for her, and she was very easily winning them rounds. Her chin did get tested, but she did seemingly pass that test, and that chin was what worked for her. She used a good head movement at times. It wasn't as on show as much in that last fight, but I do believe that she does have good head movement, but she just doesn't always show it. She will constantly be in front of you and will constantly be throwing, and that's something which I really like to see, and that means she does have good conditioning. People at times might question her conditioning, but I think her conditioning is very good, and I mean the fact that she managed to throw as much as she was throwing in that last fight and just be able to do that. I know it's a 10 round fight, not a 12 round, but still it's very impressive. Estrada though, I'd say she overcommits at points. That's where there's open for countering. When she's throwing, she can throw in big bunches, which isn't a bad thing, but it means she'll kind of open her guard a bit, and I mean her guard is quite high at times, but it isn't always a strong tight high guard. It is quite open at points. She tries to use her strength when she's not overly strong, in my opinion. I think she tries to throw her body around, which is something she can't always do, and so when she rarely does get onto the ropes, which she did a couple times against Villarino, she couldn't always just kind of push her way off, and it meant she did have to take some unnecessary blows just because she was trying to push her off when I think she probably should have tried to use her movement instead. She's not the best overall defensively, I would say. She does kind of use that attack as a defense and isn't really overall as sharp defensively. If she can work on that, then she could become on the way to maybe one of the best pound for pound women's fighters. I'm not saying she's a bad fighter at all. She's a very good fighter, and I think that the future is bright for her. Rupprecht has a big win versus Valle, a very big win, and I mean I'm sure she'll be wanting to fight her again because she has the belts at the moment. But that kind of big win and that big experienced win is something which is kind of going to be the main benefit, I suppose, ahead of Estrada, because she does have that, and I don't think Estrada has that level of a victory yet. Rupprecht is probably more physically stronger than Estrada is, and I think she'll probably try to push Estrada back because she does that with fights, and that's something which Estrada might not have seen before, but it'll be interesting to see how she reacts to it. Rupprecht has a great jab. She likes to set it up to use it to set up an overhand right. And so that's something she's going to have to watch out for. I mean, she's not overly got the best of power. She's physically strong, Rupprecht, but she hasn't got the best of power, as kind of shown through the 3 KOs and 12 wins. But I would think that you have to kind of make Estrada uncomfortable. That's kind of the best way to be able to do it. Use that physical strength, push her back, keep her on the ropes, see how she'll react, and that's kind of her best chance of winning. Like I said, she's not overly powerful. I think Estrada is more powerful than her. She can't move as well as Estrada, is what I'd say as well. I don't think she's as conditioned as well as Estrada. I don't think overall she's as technically good as Estrada, or as skilled as Estrada, but I'm not saying she's bad either. She is definitely going to have them things which can, if put together very well, can maybe make it a tough night for Estrada. But Estrada is the favourite for this fight, and I think that Estrada will win via unanimous decision. I don't see Estrada being able to get a stoppage in this fight. I think it would be a good performance by her. Like I said, possibly the maybe middle rounds might, if she does coast a little bit, Estrada, Rupprecht might punish that, or possibly in the later rounds she might, but I think Estrada will be too sharp and will be able to get the victory. And then there's only really one fight which I want. I don't know if it will happen because it's a big ask, and I'm pretty sure she's with the PBC and Estrada's with Top Rank. But it's the Yokasa Valle fight for the belts, 2 belts from each side. If they both, well, if Estrada wins this fight, whoever wins this fight will have 2 belts compared to Valle's 2 belts. Yeah, I think Valle's with the PBC, and that's not always going to be the best of things if you wanted to fight a top rank fighter. But for the matchup, women's boxing, that is probably one of the biggest fights around right now. Obviously, bar maybe like Cameron Taylor or Serrano Taylor, or maybe Marshall Shields too. I don't know, but it's a very big matchup, and it's definitely one which I'd like to see and should happen. I think obviously boxing. Fights that should happen don't always happen, but that is one that I think should definitely happen, and it should be next because I think Rupprecht is a kind of a great step up for Estrada, and then from there I think she will be ready for the Valle fight, and I think they'll be both at similar points in their career at that point. But yeah, that is it for today's video. Hope you did enjoy. Like the video if you did, like the video, subscribe if you're new, and thanks for watching.